रंगगंधार विकगिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज शिल गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत शिशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु महाभगवत शिल गोरक्षदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालप विश्व शिल सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिल जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुपर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। जय नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपाद शिशिमार भक्ति बल्लभ तीर्थ गोसाई महाराज की जय। तदीय शुभ व्यास पूजा की जय। जय जय नित्यालप विश्व शिल भक्ति दायित माधव गोसाई महाराज की जय। जय स्वापार्षद शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्री जय श्री रामचंद्र की जय। जय श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। जय श्री श्री कौशल्य कैकेयी सुमित्र देवी की जय। जय श्री लक्ष्मण की जय। भरत और शत्रुघ्न की जय। जय श्री हनुमान जी की जय। जय श्री दशरथ महाराज की जय। जय श्री अयोध्या धाम की जय। अयोध्यावासी वृंद की जय। जय श्री रामायण की जय। वाल्मीकि की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. All right, so we'll do Jai, sorry, Mangala Charan, and then begin. One second. All right, so wait, let me just open up the Mangala Charan. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम्। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Puranamami Hari Priye. Vrindayai Tulsi Devai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's recite the pranam mantras for Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj and then also for Ramacandra. 1 second. I got this from bbtirtha.org. If anybody wants to find it. If you go to About, and then you click on Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj, then it has his pranam mantra here. So we'll read his. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Shri Gaura Priya Murtaye Srimate Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Namine Maya Vara Vikhandanam Goror Vanyanu Paschadeshopadeshakam prasanna vadanang sada Shuddha Bhakti Pravahakam Shuddha Bhakti Bhagirathang Bhakti Daita Madhava Bhinnatanung Namamyaham Nama Sankirtanamrita Rasasvada Vidhayakam Krishnam Naya Kripa Murtim Acharyang Tang Namamyaham Gauranama Prachararthram Bhakta Sevanukankshitam Satirtha Priti Sadbhava Nomi Tirtha Mahashayam. I offer my most humble and respectful obeisances to Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj, the dearmost of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. You refute the Mayavad philosophy through the doctrines of pure devotion. You only recite those divine words heard from your spiritual master and spread them across the globe. Your face constantly shines with a heart-charming, pleasant smile. I bow down to you, who let the stream of pure devotion flow constantly. O Bhagirata, O he who brought Ganga to the, O Bhagirata of pure devotion, and Bhagirat is he who brought the Ganga to the earth. So, O you who brought pure devotion, you are a non-different manifestation of Śrīla Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj. O Acharya, I offer my obeisance to you, who, through Nam Sankirtan, relish the sweetest transcendental divine mellows personally. You relish them personally, and you grace others to experience such nectar. You don't just keep it all for yourself. You are the grace incarnation of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and the revealed scriptures. Your heart overflows with the nectar of divine mellows while chanting and propagating the name of Lord Gauranga. You always yearn to serve the devotees from the core of your heart. You are endowed with affection for your godbrothers. I bow down to you, O glorious one. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Okay, now we will recite some pranam mantras for Śrī Rāmacandra. Don't think I've ever recited these before, actually. But these will appear in the upcoming edition of the Gaudiya Giti Gucha. You're all getting a sneak preview of it. Isn't that a nice drawing? Kamala did for the book. Okay, so Śrī Rāmacandra. Actually, I think this is based off of Shamarani Mataji's drawing that she did. Okay. So this is from the Śrī Rāmacharita Manas, Ayodhya Kanda 3. Nilambuja Shamala Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vama Bhagam Pano Mahasayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatam. His tender limbs have the dark hue of a blue lotus. Sri Sita Devi is seated on his left side, and he holds in his hands a mighty arrow and a beautiful bow. I offer pranam to that Sri Ram, Lord of the Raghu dynasty. Oh, one thing I just remembered, I didn't send this in the TT group. One second, just forwarding this. I have a TT WhatsApp group, and yeah, anybody. Okay. Now, Dakshine Lakshmano Dhanvi Vamato Janaki Shubha Purato Marutiryasya Tam Namami Raghuttamam. On his right is Sri Lakshman, who wields a bow, and on his left is Sri Janaki, Sita Devi, who is the embodiment of auspiciousness. In front of him is Sri Hanuman, the son of Vayu, the wind god. I offer pranam to that Raghuttama, the greatest in personality. Oh, there's a mistake here. The greatest personality in the Raghu dynasty. Ramaya Ramachandraya Ramabhadraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. This is from the Padma Puran, 254-61. I offer obeisance unto Sri Ram, who is known as Ramachandra, Ramabhadra, the Supreme Controller, Raghunath, the Supreme Lord, and the husband of Sita Devi. So at the end of our program, we will sing the Śrī Rāmacandrāṣtakam written by Śrī Murari Gupta. And also there are some little small Ram Kirtans. There's this one, Śrī Rāmacandra Kripalu Bhajamana. This is kind of like the standard Ram song that's sung everywhere. Śrī Rāmacandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Payadarunam. I've never actually sung it though. I'm not sure if I could sing it. I'd have to hear it. And then there's also this little small kirtan. I sent this all out on the Gaudiya Kirtan mailing list yesterday. Sitaram, 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 Kahi, Jahi Vidira Kiram, Tahi Vidira Hiye. Krishnadaswara used to sing this. Then these will all be in the new edition of the Gaudiya Gitiputra. All right, so let's see who is all here. Dandavat pranams, Ndri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Haribo, Chattamaya Mataji, and Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Ganga Mataji. I'm guessing Raseshwari Mataji is there, and Indira Mataji, and there are a few other devotees. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. Dandavat pranams to all of you, and also pranams to all the devotees watching in the future. So today is a very auspicious day, the appearance day of Śrī Rāmacandra, Ram Navami Tithi. And not just of Ram, but also of his three brothers, of Lakshman, of Bharat, and Shatrughna. So today we will read, there's a book by Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami. Oh, and it's Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Mahārāja's Vyas Puja Day today. And so in honor of him, we will read his glorification of Śrī Rāmacandra from his book called Daśāvatāra. And it's a very unique glorification because, you know, like to tell about Ramachandra is an overwhelming task. There's so much to say. There's the whole Ramayana and the whole Ramcharita Manasa. And and many other related pastimes and points and so many things. So how do you glorify Ramachandra? And so Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami, like how do you glorify him within just an hour? But Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj, he took so many different points related to Mahaprabhu's pastimes and um, and different parts of Ramayana, and also he especially glorifies in his glorification of Ramachandra, he glorifies Lakshman, he glorifies Sita Devi, he glorifies Hanuman, um, like that. It's very beautiful because I think Ramachandra is most pleased when he hears his devotees glorified, right? And so Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj did that most expertly, most beautifully. And also he managed to write a bunch of things, like interesting facts that I didn't even know about, even in even in just such a condensed glorification. So yeah, we'll read that. And then tomorrow and however many days it takes, it'll probably take a few days, we are going to read this beautiful book by Shripad Paramadvaiti Maharaj, who is previously known as Prahlada Prabhu. He took sannyas, I think it was a couple years ago. And he was Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj's personal servant at the end. And so he wrote a memoir about that time when he was serving him and at that last time period. And it's so beautiful and so instructive and so sobering. And you see what is like, it really highlights. No, I don't know how to describe it, but you really see how simple and pure and serious and loving and dedicated and what the Guru Nishta and all these amazing qualities of Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj. And yeah, really, my honor for him has just been increasing year after year, hearing his glorifications from his disciples, reading his words, and also that book, Sweet, Sweeter, Sweetest. And so I think this is a really nice opportunity because usually we would during this time we would be in the middle of reading something and I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to break the flow. And so, but we just finished reading our thing yesterday without any planning or anything. It just happens like that naturally. And so this is a good opportunity. I think in future years, we probably wouldn't have an opportunity like where we've finished something just the day before Ram Navami. So well, I'll take this opportunity to read this beautiful book. It's called Sweet, Sweeter, Sweetest. And last year was the centennial of Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj. So it's kind of like we're ending the centennial year with reading his glories over a few days. So yeah, all right, let's begin. Oh, and Dandavat Pranams. I see Raseshwari Mataji already. And then Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj. Haribol, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj. And also Vidyalala Sadidi. And yeah, I see a bunch of other devotees join now. Haribol. And I was just looking, I actually read this chapter. Yeah, so we read this chapter last year and also the year before that. But I think next year and maybe the year after that, we'll probably start reading my Gurudev's glorifications of Śrī Rāmacandra because my Gurudev was, from birth, he was, he grew up as a Ram Bhakta. And so he has very beautiful, unique insight into Ram Leela. So many amazing points and just the most beautiful Ram Katha ever. I remember when he was in Houston, when he was, when he was manifesting his sickness pastimes in Houston, and he watched the. I went there with our Gurukul, and I remember at that time he was watching the Ramananda Sagar Ramayan, which is such a beautiful presentation. Oh my God, the Raman, it's so beautiful that forgot how many episodes it is, but I watched it also, and it's God, it's such a beautiful presentation that Ramananda Sagar's Ramayan. So he was watching that, I remember. All right, sorry, I'm talking too much. Let's begin. All right. Where is it? So I got this from bbtirtha.org. If anybody wants to see, if you go to books, at the bottom of the page, no, sorry, you click on the upper right corner and then books, you'll find this, you'll find the Sri Chaitanya, his life and associates that we read through all throughout the year. You can find that all here, which is really cool. And also this Daśāvatāra and other books by him. But yeah. So here is the Nrsimha avatar. And at the end, he gives, he has, oh, it's not here. It's somewhere else, I guess. Anyhow, I put it on here so that we can format the text a bit. Hey, where is it? Here. I think this is the right thing. Let me just double check. Oh, maybe this isn't the right thing. Huh, that's strange. And, sorry, well, let me just try this again. Open in Reader. Let's see if it works this time. Doesn't seem to be copying properly. All right, so then we'll just read it directly from the website. I'll just have to make the text extra big. Okay. Various transcendental topics, like the pastime of appearance of Sri Nrsimhadev, the extraordinary life and teachings of the Lord's exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj, how he dealt with difficulties on his spiritual path, how he finally achieved the grace of the Lord, and how the Lord himself appeared in a unique form for his dearest devotee are now elaborately presented here. Oh, that's strange. How come did I accidentally click on the Nrsimha avatar? Oops, sorry guys. What the heck? How did I do that? That's weird. I'm so spaced out. Okay, here's Ramachandra avatar. Okay, Lord Śrī Rāmacandra is the 7th avatar of the Daśāvatāra. Among the 25 Leela avatars, Lord Ramachandra is the 20th avatar. This has been mentioned in the description of Matsya avatar. The second Purush avatar, Shri Garbhodakshai Vishnu, in the form of Pradumna, is the original source of Matsya, Kurma, Rama, Nrsimha, and other Leela avatars. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his book Laghu Bhagavatamrita, defines Lord Ramachandra as the Paravasta, the perfect form. And see that word Paravasta comes in the second line here in the Padma Puran. Paravastas. Nrsimha Ramakrishneshu Shargunyam Paripuritam Paravastas Tute Tasya Dipar Utpanna Dipavat. Padma Puran. The Lords Nrsimha, Ramachandra, and Krishna, they possess 60 transcendental opulences in full. When lighting many lamps from one original lamp, all the lamps possess the same nature. And similarly, although Rama and Nrsimha are expansions of Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna, all three of them possess 60 qualities in full. In the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, the dignity of moral codes is established. Therefore, Śrī Rāmacandra is known as Maryada Purushottam, the best form of the Supreme Lord in following codes of morality. Śrī Rama's pastimes exhibit all rasas up to Vatsalya ras, up to parental affection. However, due to moral codes having the highest priority in these pastimes, The mood of parental affection has a restricted nature. Maharaj Daśāvatāra established these codes, so he was unable to prevent Śrī Rāmacandra from going to the forest. To exemplify these codes, Śrī Rāmacandra accepted exile in the forest to uphold a promise that his father had made. Daśāvatāra Maharaj passed away because he was unable to bear the grief of separation from his son, Ramacandra. Śrī Rāmacandra vowed to accept only one wife, Ekapatni Vratadhara. Therefore, no one else can worship him as a husband. Kantaras, the conjugal mood, is not exhibited in these pastimes. When the sages of Dandakaranya desired to have Śrī Rāmacandra as their husband, he told them to achieve conjugal bliss by paying allegiance to the gopis in his pastimes as Krishna. Shri Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the prime, supreme personality of Godhead, whereas Ram, Nrsimha, and others are his partial manifestations. His Anksha are the parts of the partial manifestations, Kala. Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akaror Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamahang Bhajami. It's the Brahma Samhita 539. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who manifested himself in different forms, such as Ram and others, as his partial manifestations are parts of his partial manifestations. Ete changsa kala pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. That's Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, Chapter 3, verse 28. Previously, in every epoch, whatever avatars are narrated as partial manifestations or parts of partial manifestations appeared to protect the world from the oppression of demons. But Shri Krishna, Rajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is the original Bhagavan. He is the prime Purush and is even prior to Adi Purush Avatar, Mahavishnu. In Shri Vishnu Dharmotar, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna are mentioned as being avatars of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha respectively. So Ram is Vasudev, Lakshman is Sankarshan, Bharat is Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is Aniruddha. Interesting. In the Padma Puran, Śrī Rāmacandra is identified as Narayan, Śrī Lakshman as Shesh, Śrī Bharat as Lord Narayan's disc, chakra, and Śrī Shatrughna as his conch shell, Shankha. Nikshatriyamakrita chatrit saptakritvo Ramastu Hayakulapyaya Bhargav Vagni Sobhing Babanda Daśāvatāramaham Salankam Sita Patir Jayati Lokamalaghna Kirti. At Srimad Bhagavatam 11:421. In the form of Bhargava, Parshuram, the fiery destroyer of the Haya dynasty, rid the earth of the Kshatriya class 21 times. That same Lord appeared in the form of Rama, the husband of Sita, who is renowned as the purifier of the world and rescuer of the people of the world. He built a bridge across the ocean and destroyed the 10-headed Ravan, along with his kingdom of Lanka. One can see the significant influence of the holy character of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes in the life of the Hindu society of India. In the original Valmiki Ramayana, it is written as follows. So now we're going to hear a bit of the history of Valmiki and how the Ramayana was written, I think. The sage Valmiki appeared as the 10th son in the lineage of Pracheta Rishi. One day, while living with his disciple Bharadwaj Muni, he went to bathe by the bank of the river Tamasa, which was near the Ganga. At that place, upon witnessing the killing of a male kroncha, a curlew bird, by a vyadha, by a hunter, killer of birds, and the grief of the female kroncha, the sage became sad of heart and spoke the following poetic verse to the vyadha, to the hunter. So Valmiki said, oh wait, did Valmiki say this or is Valmiki the hunter? One second. No, it says Valmiki. He was the 10th son of Pracheta Rishi, and he went to bathe by the river Tamasa, and then he saw that this bird was killed. Okay, so then he said to the hunter, Ma nishara pratishtang tvang, agama shashvati sama, yat kroncha mitunat ekang, avadhi kama mohitam. This is from the Valmiki Ramayana, Balakanda 2:15. Oh, one second. Yeah, Prajuna, that's why I got confused. But here it says that he's the one who spoke this verse. Let's see what the verse says. He says, "O Vyadha, you will never be able to achieve success and stability throughout your life, since you have killed one of a pair of kroncha birds while it was totally absorbed in lustful affairs." Thereafter, the great sage bathed in that holy place and returned to his ashram. Being stricken with grief, he was still thinking about the verse he had just uttered after spontaneously composing it. Just then, the four-headed Lord Brahma himself appeared before him and spoke the following words to console the perturbed Valmiki. So Brahma said, "O great sage, it was I who caused you to compose such a verse. Fret no longer over this matter. Instead, you should describe the holy transcendental biography of Śrī Rāmacandra, which was spoken by Devarshi Narad." Valmiki composed the Ramayana only because of this order of Brahma. In a Bengali encyclopedia, a particular incident has been described as traditional hearsay. The story in brief is as follows. He was born from a Valmika, an anthill, so his name became Valmiki. When Lord Śrī Rāmacandra visited Valmiki's ashram near Chitrakoot, Valmiki glorified the name of Ram and his birth pastimes before the Lord. Although Valmiki was born in the house of a Brahmin, he acquired an abominable violent. Okay, so I guess that's one history, is that he was born from an anthill. And now let's see this. Although Valmiki, I think this might be another one. Or maybe this is the same story. I don't know. Although Valmiki was born in the house of a Brahmin, he acquired an abominable violent nature due to the association of a vyadha, of a hunter. He fathered many children from the womb of a Shudra, a low-class woman. He practiced robbery as a means of maintaining them. One day, when he attacked some sages, they asked him to give up the practice of robbery. They said that he would have to suffer the consequences of whatever sins he was committing by robbing people. Upon returning home and asking his father, mother, wife, and other family members, he found out that they would not share the fruits of his sins. He then asked the sages for a remedy. The sages first advised him to chant the name of Ram. However, not being able to utter the name of Ram from his mouth, he was instructed to chant Mara, death, instead. He was so sinful that he couldn't chant the pure name of Rama. But he could chant Ma and Ra, which means death. That he could do. And then Ma Ra becomes Rama if you keep on saying it over and over again, right? So following their instructions, he chanted Mara, 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 Mara for thousands of yugas, thousands of eons. By chanting Mara, Mara, the reversal of Rama, Rama, the name of Rama was eventually pronounced from his mouth, and he achieved perfection in chanting the name of Lord Ram. See, look, let's Rama, and then Rama, like that. Okay. Because he was sitting in one place while chanting for such a long time, his body had become the home of Valmikas, ants or termites. Therefore, people gave him the name Valmiki. Okay, so those are three different histories of Valmiki. All right. Um, I wonder if they happened in these different ways in different yugas, maybe. I mean, in different kalpas, that's what I meant to say. In the Bengali Ramayana, written by Sri Kritivas Oja Upadhyaya, some differences from the above description can be seen. Sri Chavan Muni was Valmiki's father. In his youth, Valmiki's name was Ratnakar, and he maintained his family by robbing. One day he attacked Brahma and Narad, who then asked Ratnakar who he thought he would share in his sins. Ratnakar then returned home and asked his parents and wife if they would share the repercussions of his sinful activities. After asking everyone, he came to know that no one would share his sins. He became repentant, and when he inquired as to a remedy for these sins, Brahma advised him to chant the name of Rama. Due to excessive sins, his mouth was unable to pronounce the word Rama. Acting on Brahma's instructions, he chanted the reverse name of Mara Mara, death, death. By chanting Mara Mara, he was eventually able to chant the holy name Rama. Due to performing austerities for a long time, his body became covered with the homes of Valmikas, which was then cleansed with rain by Indra. As the Valmikas had covered him, his name became Valmiki. He wrote the Ramayana on the instruction of Narad. This is a fourth history of Valmiki. So I guess yeah, in every kalpa it happened a little differently. The Ramayana the Ramayana is famous as the original epic of India. During the time of the Ramayana, Sanskrit was prevalent as the spoken language in Aryan society. The word Arya, honorable, spiritually cultured, has been used for quite often in the Ramayana. Special respect for the Ramayana has been observed in places as far away as Javadvip, or Java, Indonesia. Interesting, huh? Indonesia, Javadvip. Yeah, and there's beautiful art in Indonesia. Let's see. I don't know what Indonesian art is called. How do you spell Indonesia? Anyways, we can look at it later. But yeah, they have like a very unique style, and I've seen Ramachandra's art done in it. I'll just look really quick. Here, look at this. Uh, anyhow, see, look there. This is Indonesian style Ram art. That's like that. See, they have like this very unique dress, and there are better pictures than that, though. This is this Sita taking away? No, Ravan taking away Sita? I don't know. Anyhow, you get the idea, but it's this kind of style of art. Okay. Although a large book, the Ramayana of Javadvip, has no section divisions. Wow, so there's a Ramayana in Indonesia. Even though it doesn't have any section divisions, it does have chapter divisions. The Valmiki Ramayana is of three kinds. There's the Uditcha, the Dakshinatya, and Gaudiya. Mm, Gaudiya Ramayana. Sorry, I just lost my spot. Okay. There, there is no significant difference between the text and subject of the Uditcha and Dakshinatya Ramayans. However, differences can be seen in the Gaudiya Ramayana. There are 28 commentaries on the Ramayana. The Ramayana has been written in all the languages of India. Among the Ramayans written in Indian languages, the Tamil Ramayana of Kumbhala, composed in the 9th century of the Christian era, and the Bengali Ramayana of Kritivas, composed in the 15th century, and the Hindi Ramayana of Tulsidas, composed in the 17th century, are the most famous. In the Western countries, the Ramayana was apparently first translated into the Italian language. That's very interesting, huh? The Italian Ramayana. That's the first time it was translated into a Western language. The Valmiki Ramayana has been written in 7 khandas, 7 sections, namely the Adi Khanda, the Ayodhya Khanda, the Aranya Khanda, Kishkinda Khanda, Sundara Khanda, Lanka Khanda, and Uttar Khanda. The Ramayana is a voluminous scripture. Nari Hari Prabhu, I just noticed he wrote a comment. Pujumna says that China and Ethiopia have versions also. And then Nari Hari Prabhu says in Thailand also. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Oh, and one thing. And Haribo Jaidev Prabhu. Great to see you live now. And Haribo Vangsiwala Prabhu. I saw on bbtirtha.org there's a section where Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj gives a summary of each of these different khandas, each of these sections, the Adi, Ayodhya, Aranya, Kishkinda, Sundar, Lanka, and Uttar khandas of Ramayana. So maybe we could read that at the end if anybody wants to stay a bit longer. The Ramayana is a voluminous scripture. From the description of Ramachandra's lineage in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Ramachandra appears in the solar dynasty, the Surya Vangsha. Ikshvaku, the son of Vaivasvat Manu, is the origin of the solar dynasty, and his descendants proceed in the following order. Mandhata from Ikshvaku, Trishanku's son Harishchandra, Harishchandra's son Rohita, and after that, Maharaj Sagar, Asamanjasa, Angshuman, Dilipa, and Bhagirat. In his lineage came Ashmaka, King Balika, and other kings. When Parashuram was killing the Kshatriyas, King Balika was saved from his wrath due to being surrounded by women. So King Balika was saved from Parashuram because he was surrounded by women. Hence, one of his names became Nari Kavacha, shielded by women. Nari Kavacha, the women's shield. So I guess Parshuram wouldn't enter where there's ladies there. So he wouldn't. Yeah. That's so interesting, huh? Nari Kavacha. Being the Mula, being the root of the Kshatriya lineage, he became famous by the name Mulaka. In the lineage of Balika, the great emperor King Katvanga took birth. From Katvanga, Dirgabahu, Raghu, Prithushrava, Aja, and finally Aja's son Maharaj Daśāvatāra was born. And I'm just seeing Rukmini Didi says I have the first 3 cantos of Vidvang Gauranga Prabhu's translation of Valmiki Ramayana with summaries of ancient commentaries. That sounds interesting. That would be a fun thing to do sometime in the future, is read Ramayana. Okay, it's just the first 3 khandas though. It's not complete yet. Is he still working on the rest of it? Cool. Well, maybe that might be a really fun thing to do. Like when the whole Ramayana is finished, we could read through that. That would be really cool. Haribo Ashray Tattva Prabhu. Okay. Haribo. Okay, so Katvangad Dirgabahuscha Raghus Tasmat Pritu Shrava Ajastato Maharajas Tasmat Daśāvatāra Bhavat. That's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, Verse 1. Due to the prayers of the demigods, the Supreme Lord Sri Hari agreed to become the son of King Daśāvatāra, along with his expansions as Ram, Lakshman, Bharata, and Shatrughna. According to the description of Valmiki Ramayana, Daśāvatāra, acting upon the advice of Sumantra, arranged for a Putreshti Yagya to be conducted by the powerful sage Rishyashringa to obtain a son. Rishyashringa. So subsequently, after performing that Putreshti Yagya under that sage Rishyashringa, he begot the Supreme Lord and his expansions as his sons in the previously mentioned four forms. His principal queen, Kaushalya, became pregnant after eating charu, an oblation of rice, milk, rice, milk, and sugar boiled together. So kheer, sweet rice, which remained after the yagya, but it's called charu. Okay. At the auspicious time of Punarvasu Nakshatra, in the fourth zodiacal sign of Cancer, in the month of Chaitra, on the 9th day of the waxing moon, Lord Śrī Rāmacandra appeared. Bharata appeared from the womb of Kaikeyi during the Pushya Nakshatra, Meena Lagna. And Lakshman and Shatrughna appeared from the womb of Sumitra during the Ashlesha Nakshatra, Karkata Lagna. So they all appeared today, but in different nakshatras. Oh, and Pujumno says, Madhvacharya has a great commentary on Ramayana and a great commentary on Mahabharata. Interesting, I never heard of that. Oh, Shri Mataji said, thank you for pronouncing Ramayana right. So many put emphasis on the yan syllable. Ramayan, yeah. Is there a reason? No, I just think it's just a pronunciation thing. All right. Ahalya was freed, and whenever you see Sanskrit anything, just always know the A with a line over it, the long A's. You put more emphasis on that. So that's why it's Ramayan. Okay, Ahalya was freed of the curse of becoming a stone by dint of her encounter with Śrī Rāmacandra. The great sage Gautama was the husband of Ahalya. Devaraj Indra deceived Ahalya by assuming the form of Gautama and corrupting her chastity. Displeased with this, Gautama cursed Ahalya and Indra. Turned to stone by the curse of Gautama, Ahalya remained without food for many years, surviving only on air. Ahalya was finally freed from this curse by the touch of the lotus feet of Śrī Rāmacandra, and was then reunited with her husband Gautama. I'd always feel so sorry for Ahalya. That seems so unfair that she was deceived, and then why was she guilty? Because it wasn't her, it wasn't intentional. But the curse of a sage is always auspicious, and so actually she's most fortunate because then she got the touch of Lord Ramachandra's lotus feet. So actually I don't feel bad for her. I feel very happy for her. All right. In the pastimes of Śrī Rāmacandra, the following of ethical codes is of primary importance. He is Maryada Purushottam. His pastimes strongly evoke the sentiment of compassion. Yeah, it's true, huh? So many examples of extreme compassion and tolerance. By the mercy of Śrī Rāmacandra, we can be saved from immorality and adharma, unrighteousness. The Supreme Lord, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, prayed to Ramacandra in the following way to teach us. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Rakshamam means rescue me. O Rama, O Raghava, rescue me. From the pastimes of Ramacandra, we learn about the necessity of accepting and serving a spiritual master. And we also learn about devotion to one's parents and the duties of a brother and a wife. The Supreme Lord Śrī Rāmacandra has exhibited the pastime of abandoning the opulence of royal life which is very difficult to give up, and of abandoning a perfect wife for keeping dharma and ethics intact. He accepted all kinds of suffering. He accepted exile in the forest and went without food and sleep. He walked with his soft lotus feet on the forest paths, which were full of thorns. Out of love for his devotees, the Lord bestowed his mercy on the Chandal Guhaka. As the protector of one who is surrendered to him, the Lord awarded shelter to Vibhishan, who was a demon, right? The brother of Ravan. Śrī Rama's pastimes demonstrate how a henpecked person becomes miserable, and how those who consider someone merely dressed as a sadhu, lacking genuine qualification to be a sadhu. So he showed how those who consider someone merely dressed as a sadhu, to be a real sadhu, how that person becomes cheated and ends up miserable. By annihilating demons such as Ravan and Kumbhakarna, he destroys the living being's inner demoniac tendencies. To instruct his subjects, and for their pleasure, he underwent suffering by asking for Sita's trial by fire and her banishment to the forest. So he underwent great suffering by asking Sita to do that and by banishing her to the forest. They were both suffering equally from that. Austerities are prohibited for those with evil motives, who are in the mode of dark ignorance, because those austerities only create havoc in the world. To teach this, he killed the Shudra Shambhuka, while the latter was engaged in performing austerities. He taught all these lessons by setting the example himself. Oh, and Shripad Sajjan Maharaj is saying, where that Leela took place is near Gurudev's birthplace. You're talking about Ahalya, right? And Chatamai Mataji said, yes, it seemed extremely unfair to curse Ahalya. She did, however, obtain the direct touch of the Supreme Person. Yes, so actually, that's why the curses of a sadhu is always auspicious. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami covers the main topics by describing the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord Śrī Rāmacandra in brief. These topics are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. Okay, so this is from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Can I say a little something?
Yes, Hari Hari Prabhu, yes.
Yeah, in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, remember there's a Brahman who's very, very distraught because he couldn't understand why Ravan could even touch Sita. So it is explained in a book that found by Lord Chaitanya, and actually he took the page, that Sita was a shadow Sita, and the Agnidev took her, the real Sita, with him to a safe place. And when her chastity is tested by entering the fire, that's when Agnidev brings out the real Sita.
I love that pastime. Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj will explain that pastime also later on in this chapter.
Oh, great, okay.
But yeah, it's so sweet because it's like Lord Ramachandra himself is telling, like, consoling his devotee, even though his devotee doesn't realize it's actually Lord Ramachandra himself speaking to him, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he's consoling his devotee, and he goes through all this effort to console his devotee like that.
Yeah, that's a great love and compassion of the devotee. Bhaktavatsa.
Yes. The pastimes of Lord Śrī Rāmacandra are wonderful, like those of a playful baby elephant. A playful baby elephant. At Sita's Swayamvar, the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband, in the midst of all the heroes, he playfully lifted the immensely heavy bow of Lord Shiva, the Hara Dhanu, which was brought in by 300 men. 300 men, wow. He then bent and strung it and broke it in everyone's presence. After breaking the Haradhanu at the Swayamvar, the Lord gained King Janak's daughter Sita, who had not been born from the womb. She's born from a field, right? And who is equally as endowed as the Lord with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, age, behavior, and nature, just like Lakshmi. While returning, he crushed the pride of Parashuram, who had rid the earth of the Kshatriyas 21 times, and who tried to kill his Ramachandra's ancestor. What was his name? Balika? As described in the Ramayana, at the time of Rama's marriage to Sita and Mithila, King Daśāvatāra came with his other sons, ministers, and sages. There, Lakshman married Urmila, the daughter of Shishadwaj Janak, the king of Mithila. So Sita's sister, right? And then Bharat and Shatrughna married the two daughters of Kushadwaja, Mandhavi and Shrutakirti. What's Shishadwaja Janak? Is that, so this is the same Janak, right? Sita's father. It's just a title, Shishadwaja Janak. I'm guessing it is. If anybody knows that, you can mention. So Urmila and Sita are sisters, and then
there are many Janakas, so it distinguishes him from the other ones.
Okay, so this is a different Janak. So it's not this.
No, it is the same one, but this title describes that it is he.
Oh, okay, got it. Thanks. And Mandavi and Shrutakirti, who's Kushadwaja? Is he like a brother of Janak Maharaj? Do you know? Shishadwaja and Kushadwaja. I'm wondering if they're all related. Okay. To reveal the condition of we could look that up also. I'll look it up. To reveal the condition of persons who are attached to women, Lord Śrī Rāmacandra, in order to fulfill the desire of his wife, ran after a golden deer. So this is all just in order to give a teaching. It's Leela. This deer was in fact Maricha, who had assumed this form according to the instructions of Ravan. Taking advantage of the golden opportunity of Śrī Rāmachandra's absence, Ravan kidnapped Sita. To exhibit the sorrowful condition of a person who is attached to women, Śrī Rāmacandra wandered in the forest in a pitiable state with his brother Lakshman, displaying distress due to separation from his beloved. In this context, as written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the example of a devotee of Ram in South India is to be considered, which Nuri Haripu just mentioned this story. How was it that Ravan, who was overcast with gloom and arrogance, how could he kidnap Sita Devi, the absolute counterpart, transcendental spiritual energy of the absolute transcendental Supreme Lord Śrī Rāmacandra? Upon seeing this description in the Ramayana, a Brahman devotee of Ram became filled with grief, and he gave up eating. He was so absorbed in Ramachandra's pastimes, it's almost like as if his pastimes are going on right then. Like, became so filled with grief that he gave up eating. Sriman Mahaprabhu put this question to him. Considering that the ignorant Ravan had not even seen the absolute transcendental spiritual entity Sita Devi, how could he have kidnapped her? Mahaprabhu was trying to console his devotee. Explaining, Sriman Mahaprabhu said that Ravan had only kidnapped the Maya Sita, or the illusory material form of Sita, and that the real Sita had not disappeared. And that the real Sita had disappeared. Ravan only touched the Maya Sita. The real Sita had disappeared. The story of the kidnapping of Maya Sita is described in the Kurma Puran of Vedavyas. And so, like Nuri Hari Prabhu mentioned, Mahaprabhu went and found this Kurma Purana and took that page and brought it back to the Brahman to console him. In the pastimes of Rama, a wonderful quality can be seen in the character of Bharat. When obstructed in the service of the Supreme Lord Śrī Rāmacandra, he even rejected his own mother. And in this context, he even rejected his own mother, Bharat. So in this context, there's this verse, Gurur nasasyat, swajano nasasyat, pita nasasyaj, janani nasasyat, daivam natatsyan, napatishta sasyan, namochayedya samupeta mrityum. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto, Chapter 5, verse 18. He who could not rescue a conditioned soul from worldly bondage of proximate death by advising the path of devotion to God is not entitled to be accepted as a real guru, a real kinsman, a real father. Yeah, he's not entitled to be accepted as a real father. Such a man should not endeavor to beget a child. He's not to be entitled to, shouldn't become a real, he's not a real mother, because such a woman should not endeavor to conceive. Or a real demigod. Such a demigod should not be eligible for worship. Or a real husband. Such a man should not marry. If one is not unable to rescue a conditioned soul from worldly bondage by advising the path of devotion to God, then what's the point of being a guru, a friend, a father, a mother, a demigod, a husband? There's no use. We shouldn't become any of those things. The Supreme Lord creates all living beings, but is satisfied only after creating man. Man has the ability to discriminate between good and bad, eternal and non-eternal, and can worship the Supreme Lord. Human birth is not meant only for eating, sleeping, defending, and mating like the beasts, birds, aquatics, and other animals. Still, we generally find that most people have little or no inclination to worship God. Evidently, we cannot have quality and quantity at the same time. If we wish to increase quantity, we must sacrifice quality, and vice versa. After killing Ravan, and upon finishing, okay, so that was all in the point of how Bharat gave up, rejected even his own mother. After killing Ravan, and upon finding the period of his forced exile, Śrī Rāmacandra returns to Ayodhya on the Pushpaka, on the flower airplane, with Sita Devi. Sorry, he returns to Ayodhya on the flower airplane with Sita Devi, Hanuman, Sugriv, and Lakshman. The citizens, Brahma, and the other demigods were in a state of jubilation. And didn't they return on this Ram Navami Tithi? For some reason, I think I remember Gurudev saying that, but I can't remember. I might be wrong. It might have been a different Tithi, but I thought it was this Tithi. Or was it on Deepavali? I can't remember. Anyhow, however, Śrī Rāmacandra, when he returned after killing Ravan and he returns to Ayodhya, Śrī Rāmacandra lamented upon hearing that his brother Bharata was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, was covering his body with the bark of trees, was wearing matted locks of hair, and lying down on kusha grass. When Śrī Rāmacandra returned to Ayodhya, Bharat took Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes upon his head and came out of Nandigram, accompanied by ministers, priests, and citizens, singing and playing music. He fell at the lotus feet of Śrī Rāmacandra, with his eyes full of tears of love. Bharat exhibited such wonderful character. It is difficult for modern men to even contemplate such an ideal. In the present-day situation, the administrative class will not hesitate to perform any heinous work to protect their position. My God, you can see that in such an intense way today. Anyhow, I'm not going to get into that, but where there's great attachment to position, there cannot be good administration. we can learn from the ideal examples of character of Śrī Rāmacandra and Bharat what the proper character for administrators should be. Just looking at the comments. Okay, and Rukmini Didi just clarified that Kushadvaja was Janak Maharaja's younger brother. Neat. And so there are two sisters and the two cousins. Well, two groups of sisters, and they're both cousins. Okay, so through the character of Ramachandra and Bharat, we learn the proper character, what the proper character for administrators should be. They give up their own comforts and everything to, to lead in the most exemplary religious way. Upon seeing their beloved king Śrī Rāmacandra after a long period of separation, his subjects showered him with flower garlands and danced in great ecstasy. At that time, Bharat carried Ramachandra's wooden shoes. Sugriv and Vibhishan carried a chamar, a fly whisk, and an excellent fan. Hanuman carried a white umbrella. Shatrughna carried a bow and quiver. Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angada carried a sword, and Jambavan carried a golden amulet. One day, while wandering in Ayodhya in disguise, Śrī Rāmacandra heard one of his subjects casting aspersions upon the character of Sita Devi. Upon hearing this, the Lord banished Sita Devi even though she was pregnant. What a wonderful ideal and spirit of sacrifice this was to teach his subjects. Iti lokar bahu mukhad duraradyad asamvidha patya bhitena sa tyakta prapta pracheta sashramam. Srimad Bhagavatam 9:11-10. Men with a poor fund of knowledge and heinous character speak nonsensically. Fearing such rascals, Lord Ramachandra abandoned his pregnant wife, Sita Devi. Thus, after being banished by Ram, Sita Devi went to Valmiki Muni's ashram. Not only did Ram abandon Sita or banish Sita, but Śrī Rāmacandra even abandoned his brother Lakshman, who is dearer to him than his own life, in order to maintain the codes of Dharma. The gist of this incident is as follows. Once Lord Brahma sent Kala in the form of tapas as a messenger to Śrī Rāmacandra. Kala is time personified, right? In the form of tapas. As a messenger to Śrī Rāmacandra. So I guess Kala went to, I don't know what the message, it doesn't say it directly, but I'm guessing it has to do with, okay, it's time to wind up your pastimes. I don't know. Before conveying Brahma's message, the messenger placed the condition before Śrī Rāmacandra that he would tell him the message if Śrī Rama promised him that no one would be able to hear his words. If anyone heard or saw their secret conversation, then that person would be fit to be killed by Śrī Rama. Śrī Rāmacandra accepted this condition. However, while the secret conversation between the messenger and Śrī Rāmacandra was taking place, who other than Durvasa Rishi came to see Śrī Rāmacandra. Durvasa Rishi always, it's like his duty to create some crazy havoc in the Lord's pastimes. So Durvasa Rishi came to see Śrī Rāmacandra. Lakshman, who was appointed as the gatekeeper during the secret conversation, became afraid upon seeing the angry form of Durvasa Rishi. And so Lakshman went to Śrī Rāmacandra to ask his permission to allow him inside. Oh my God. To keep his promise, on the instructions of Vasishta, Śrī Rāmacandra banished his brother Lakshman, who is dearer to him than his own life. Lakshman's demonstration that the elder brother is as respectable as the father, his abandonment of all material comforts for the service of his object of worship, Śrī Rāmacandra, and his service to him for 14 years while being in the forest with him. These are all ideal examples. Lakshman had not been ordered to go to the forest in exile, yet he went after his elder brother to serve him. Even though he wasn't ordered to, he still went just to serve Lord Ramachandra. Lakshman, with his transcendental powers and the help of Vibhishan, was able to obstruct the Nikumbhila Yagya of Ravan's son, Meghanad, who had conquered Indra. Lakshman then killed Meghanad. Indrajit, which is another name for Meghnad, the conqueror of Indra, he obtained the boon that one who is able to remain without food for 14 years and who also has full control over the senses would be able to kill him. That's a very specific, boon. So wait, Lakshman didn't eat for 14 years? I guess not. What does it say? Lakshman did not take food while living in the forest for 14 years. And he performed the pastime of conquering all his senses. While remaining all the time with Śrī Rāmacandra and Sita Devi and serving them, he never saw beyond the lotus feet of Sita Devi.
Meanwhile, Urmila, his wife, slept that whole time, so half of her sleep was going to him for his strength.
Really? Whoa, I never heard
I've
that.
heard that. I don't know, but that's what I heard, yes.
That is fascinating. She slept for him. That's so cool.
Oh, and talking about power and energy, in Ramuna, as we all know, the deity of Kirchor Gopinath, we went with Bhattarini and Singaniya, this devotee Prabhupada disciple, and they told us there that the deity, the murti of Gopinath was carved by Lord Ramachandra with an arrow, and he was able to do so by having the hand of Sita Devi on his back.
Wow.
And he said for ages people had tried to imitate his thin waist and strong legs, and every time the deities or not the deities, but the forms will break.
But
so to this day nobody can carve a deity like that.
The reason that he carved it is that Sita wanted to see what he was like in his pastimes as
in the future.
Krishna.
Yes, in the future.
It's the cowherd.
So we were so privileged to be able to. We brought a bunch of sandalwood actually with Singaniya, and engaged us in bringing sandalwood to Kirchor Gopinath, and they dress him. The pujari dresses him with one cloth, a long, lengthy cloth, and when you finish, it's amazing. He's got long sleeve kurta, and the dhoti is like.
Wow, all from one cloth. That's amazing.
But it was, it was because of the Sita Devi's energy. So the story of Urmila, I didn't know, remind me of that.
Oh, glories to the Lord's, all the different forms of the Lord, they're Shaktis. Always the Shakti, which makes everything possible, right?
That's right.
Without the Lord Shakti is just, there's nothing. He's Nirvishesh.
Nirvishesh.
Okay, even Śrī Rama's internal potency, Sita Devi, although instructed repeatedly by Śrī Ramachandra not to go with him to the forest, as this punishment was meant for him and not for her or anyone else, even that Sita Devi also, she left behind all comforts for the service of her husband. By this action, she defines the duty of a chaste wife and exhibited the ideal of following the husband. The Supreme Lord Śrī Ramachandra was completely fascinated by the pure love of Sita Devi, which surpassed all his expectations. But in order to teach the dharma of a king who is engaged in the welfare of the citizens, and although giving pain to himself, he asked for the ordeal by fire, the Agni Pariksha, and declared the injunction of banishment of Sita Devi, who is non-different from his own self. Once arrangements were being, oh, and I see it, I didn't even notice the time, it's 8:17, but since today's a festival day, I'm going a bit longer, but if anybody has to go, yeah, Dandavat Pranams. Once arrangements were being made for an Ashwamedha Yagya under the priesthood of Vasishta and other sages. The wife of the person to perform the Ashwamedha Yagya has to be initiated in a Yagya before the husband. The wife has to be initiated in a Yagya before the husband. Because of this rule, it was proposed that Śrī Rāmacandra get married again. But Śrī Rāmacandra rejected the proposal. He wouldn't marry anybody but Sita. What is it? Ek Patni Vratadhara. And so he arranged to have a golden deity of Sita instead. He was given Yagya initiation along with the golden deity of Sita as his wife. What can be a better example of Sita Devi's most excellent chastity and love than this? Yet, to remove the doubts of the citizens, in the Naimisha area on the banks of the Gomati, he invited sages, all the kings, and even Sugriva, along with the Vanaras, the monkeys, and Vibhishan, along with the Rakshasas. Maharshi Valmiki was also present in the sacrificial arena with Lava and Kush. Upon hearing the Ramayana from Lava and Kush, which had been composed by Valmiki, Śrī Rāmacandra understood that they were his sons. Acting on the order of Valmiki Muni, Śrī Rāmacandra sent messengers to invite Sita Devi to prove her chastity before everyone at the sacrificial arena. Sita Devi saw that even after she had been tested 2 times, everyone's doubt had not been removed. Even after 2 times, and she passed the test both times, still people's doubts hadn't been removed. Therefore, she came with a determination that this time she would enter into Rasatal, the lowest of the 7 underworlds. So addressing the earth goddess, she said, "O Devi, if I do not think of anyone other than Raghav in my mind, then divide into 2 parts and give me shelter. If this is true, I worship Ram with all my senses and do not know anyone other than Ram. O Devi, divide into 2 parts and let me enter." Everyone was astonished to see a miraculous divine throne come up from the middle of the earth. And as Sita Devi sat on it, it entered into Rasatal. Upon Sita Devi's entering into Rasatal, everyone glorified her with loud applause. Śrī Rāmacandra, taking support of the Yagya Danda, lowered his face and cried for a long time in the grief of separation from Sita. In the Ramayana, Hanuman's dedication to his object of worship is displayed to the utmost, and his devoutness has an ideal place among the servants of Ram. Notice how Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj is glorifying so much all the devotees of Rama. He glorifies Bharat Hanuman. Now he's going to glorify Hanuman, Lakshman, Sita. This is how we glorify Ram, by glorifying his devotees also. So in the Ramayana, Hanuman's dedication to his object of worship is displayed to the utmost, and his devoutness has an ideal place among the servants of Ram. For the nourishment of Sriman Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Hanuman appeared as Murari Gupta, and at the end we'll sing a prayer composed by Murari Gupta, the Ramachandrashtakam. Sriman Mahaprabhu taught the glories and importance of dedication to one's object of worship through Murari Gupta. And in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there are so many sections, so many stories and descriptions, and so many pastimes, of Murari Gupta. It's like one of the more prominent associates in all of Chaitanya Bhagavat. Sriman Mahaprabhu explained to Murari Gupta that worship of Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is best. Upon hearing this subject from Mahaprabhu, Murari Gupta promised him that from now on, he would worship Sri Krishna. But even after giving his word to Mahaprabhu, he was not able to keep his promise to the very end. Murari Gupta then fell at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and spoke the following words while crying. Raghunathir pai mui bechiacho matha. Kardite na pari matha mone pai byata. Shri Raghunatha charana charano na jai. Taba agya bhanga hoy ki koron upay. Tate more e kripa koro doyamoy. Tomar age mritu hok jokas sangshay. That's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 15, verses 149 to 151. So Murari Gupta said, I've sold my head unto the lotus feet of Raghunath. I cannot withdraw my head, for that would give me too much pain. It is not possible for me to give up the service of Raghunath's lotus feet. At the same time, if I do not do so, I shall break your order. What can I do? You are all merciful, so kindly grant me the mercy that I may die before you, so that all my doubts will be finished. While assuring Murari Gupta, Mahaprabhu praised him, saying, E mata tomar nishta jani bar tore, tomare agraha ami koilu bare bare, shakshat hanuman tumi Śrī Rāmacandra, tumi kene chhadibe tar charana kamal. That's from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 15, verses 155 to 156. So Mahaprabhu said to Murari Gupta, just to test your firm faith in your Lord, I requested you again and again to change your worship from Lord Ramachandra to Lord Krishna. Indeed, you are the incarnation of Hanuman. Consequently, you are an eternal servant of Lord Ramachandra. Why should you give up the worship of Lord Ramachandra and his lotus feet? Supreme Lord Śrī Rāmacandra, glorifying his servant Hanuman, spoke to Maharshi Agastya as follows. So Mahaprabhu spoke enacted this pastime to show the glories of Murari Gupta, Hanuman. Now Lord Ramachandra is glorifying his Hanuman to Maharshi Agastya. He says, the strengths of Vali and Ravan, although being incomparable, were not equal to that of Hanuman's. Hanuman is filled with chivalry, valor, patience, intelligence, scriptural knowledge, and all other desirable qualities. Hanuman alone accomplished the crossing of the ocean between southern India and Lanka, the bringing of the message of Sita, the killing of the demons, the subsequent burning of Lanka, and so on. We do not hear such deeds even of Yama, Indra, Kuvera, and others. It is only by the strength of Hanumanji that I achieved victory over Lanka, rescued Sita, and saw Lakshman come back to life after being hit by an irresistibly powerful javelin. The question may be raised that if Hanuman was so powerful, he could have defeated Ravan. What is it? Yeah, he could have defeated Ravan and Vali. His strength is superior to theirs. So then, why did he not kill Vali during Vali's fight with Sugriva? In reply to this, Agastya Muni narrates the story of Hanuman's curse. Haribol Sarveshwari Mataji. And my father, Haribol, Dad. So, Hanuman was fathered by Vayu, the wind god, and took birth from the womb of Anjana. After the birth of Hanuman, I went to the place where he took birth is in Kishkinda. You have to climb up a tall hill, like tons of steps, and then at the very top is his birthplace. So, after he took the birth of Hanuman, Anjana went to the forest to pick some fruits due to distress from hunger. Upon seeing the red sun looking like a java flower, a hibiscus flower, Hanuman mistook it for a fruit, and he jumped up to eat it. To protect his son from the sun's heat, the cool wind, Vayu, began to blow. Knowing that the approaching child Hanuman would perform a great deed in the future, the sun did not burn him. That day, Rahu, the truncated demon, went to devour the sun. But upon seeing Rahu, Hanuman went to eat him also. Ooh, I'll eat him. Being afraid, Rahu ran to Indra and told him that when he went to devour the sun, another Rahu had attacked him. Another Rahu, who is Hanuman. Indra, while following on his elephant Airavat, assured Rahu and sent him ahead as they approached the sun. Hanuman again saw returning Rahu as a fruit. Seeing Hanuman coming to catch him, Rahu cried out loudly. And now mistaking Airavat, Indra's elephant carrier, to be a big fruit, Hanuman went to catch him also. Seeing no other way to stop him, Indra attacked Hanuman with his Vajra, with his thunderbolt weapon. When Indra attacked Hanuman with his thunderbolt weapon, then Hanuman's left Hanu, his left jaw, was broken, and he fell down on a mountain. I wonder if that's how he got his name Hanuman. His Hanu, his jaw, was broken by Indra, and he fell down on a mountain. Upon seeing the unfortunate condition of his baby son, Vayu entered into a cave with him. At the disappearance of air, of Vayu, all the living beings stopped breathing and evacuating, and dried up like wood. The demigods and demons approached Brahma to save their lives. Brahma saw the golden complexioned child in the lap of Vayu and touched him with compassion and affection. When Hanuman regained his life, Vayu, the demigod of the winds, started flowing again with satisfaction. My God, what a powerful little boy could cause all this to happen. Brahma told the demigods that this child would someday perform some great work, so they should bless him. Then Indra blessed the child with the following words. Indra blessed him. Hanuman will never be killed, even if hit by the Vajra weapon. His jaw was broken by the Vajra. Therefore, his name will be Hanuman. And then Surya, the sun god, gave 100th part of his splendor to Hanuman, and also gave him the benediction that he would be a great speaker, very learned in the scriptures. Varuna, Yama, Kuvera, and others also gave benedictions to Hanuman. Brahma assured Vayu by saying that Hanuman would bestow fearlessness to friends, fear to enemies, and would be undefeatable. He'd be able to travel with unparalleled speed and would perform great deeds. Becoming powerful by all these blessings, Hanuman began to create mischief in the ashrams of sages due to his childish playfulness. In order to control him, the sages cursed him that he would not be aware of his own power for a long time. He would come to know of his power only if someone told him about it. Thereafter, Hanuman became quiet and wandered peacefully. It's the only way to control him. Hanumanji's influence is seen strongly in northern and western India. In these regions, almost all the followers of Sanatana Dharma install and worship the deity of Hanuman. Yeah, you see everywhere, and especially I've noticed in northern India, they have this like red sculpture on the wall of Hanuman. They especially recite the glories of Hanuman from the Ramayana of Tulsidas. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the description of the avatar for Kali Yuga has been disclosed in the context of the Yuga avatars. In that description, Vedavyas Muni has sung the glories of Kali Yuga's avatari, Sriman Mahaprabhuji, in 2 verses. Both of these verses can also be understood in relation to Śrī Rāmacandra. I think the general meaning of the verse is seen in relation to Ramachandra, but then the deep hidden meaning is in relation to Mahaprabhu. So these famous verses, it comes right after Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sangopangasta Parshadam, then come these 2 verses. Deyam sada paribhava gnamabhishta doham tirtaspadam shiva virinchinutam sharanyam bhrityartihang pranatapala bhavabdipotam vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.33. O Mahapurush, protector of all who offer respects unto you, you are always meditated upon. You are the destroyer of the embarrassing conditions of material life, the provider of all that is desirable, and the abode of all holy places. You are worshipped by Lord Shiva and Lord Virinchi, Brahma. You are the shelter, the remover of your servant's distress, and the deliverer from the ocean of material existence. I offer my obeisances unto your lotus feet. Tyaktva sudustyaja surepsita raja lakshming, dharmishta arya vachasa yaragad aranyam, maya mrigam dayitayepsiptam anvadavar, vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.34. O Mahapurush, the best of all those who are followers of Dharma, you gave up Lakshmi and the opulence of royal life, which are desired even by the demigods. You went to the forest to honor the word of the Arya and ran after the illusory deer to fulfill the desire of your beloved. I offer my obeisances unto your lotus feet. And now here's a verse from the Srila Jayadev Goswami's Daśāvatāra Stotra. Vitarasi dek shurane dek pati kamaniyam, dashamukha moli palim brahmaniyam, keshavadrita rama sharira, jai jagadisha hare, jai jagadisha hare, jai jagadisha hare. O Keshav, in the form of Ram, you cut off the 10 heads of Ravan and made delightful gifts of them to the lords of the 10 directions. O Lord of the universe, all glories unto you, manifested in the form of Ram. Okay, so for those who are unacquainted with the stories of Ramayana, the following are brief summaries of the 7 khandas. It is now 8:35. I think it's getting maybe a bit late. Yeah, I'm not going to read this just because I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go so far. I've already gone 35 minutes over time. So we'll stop here. But yeah, if anybody wants to read a brief summary of the 7 khandas of Ramayana, you can see here. This is kind of like, I think this is like the table of contents. Yeah, it looks like a table of contents. It says, Nara describes the pastimes of Lord Ram. Valmiki composes the Ramayana. Lava and Kush sing the Ramayana. Dasharath's bringing of Rishyashringa. Lord Narayan accepts sonhood of Dasharath. Okay, let's just read the first kanda. Yeah, we'll read the Adi kanda and then we'll stop. Okay, so Lord Narayan accepts the sonhood of Dasharath. The birth of Bali, Sugriv, Hanuman, and other Vanars, other monkeys. The birth of Ram, Lakshman, Bharata, and Shatrughna. And sage Vishwamitra arrives in Ayodhya to take Ram and Lakshman to slay the Rakshasas, the demons. And Dasharath refuses to let Ram and Lakshman go with Vishwamitra at first, but later agrees. The narration of the births of Taraka and Maricha. The slaying of Taraka by Ram. A description of the lineage of Kusha. Vishwamitra's narration of the origin of Ganga. King Sagar gets 60,000 sons. Sagar's dynasty is destroyed by the curse of Kapila Muni. Bhagira gets a boon from Brahma. Ganga goes to Patala, the netherworld. Deliverance of the sons of Sagar. Indra cuts to pieces a fetus in the womb of Diti. A description of the curse of Ahalya and Indra. The redemption of Ahalya from her curse. Ram and Lakshman travel to the sacrificial arena of King Janak. Vishwamitra arrives at the ashram of Vashishta. Vishwamitra steals the Shabala cow. Vishwamitra is defeated doing battle with Vashishta. Vishwamitra performs austerities and attains the status of a Brahmana. King Janak obtains the Haradhanu, the bow of Lord Shiva. Ramchandra breaks the Haradhanu and accepts Sita as his wife. The marriage of Ramachandra and others. Parshuram's pride is destroyed. Dasharath arrives in Ayodhya with his daughters-in-law. Bharat journeys to his maternal home. So all those pastimes took place in the Adi Kanda. And then if you want to read the next 6 khandas, Daśāvatāra decides to install Śrī Rāmacandra as the crown prince, beginning from there. Yeah, you can look at this on here, bbtirtha.org. Go down, click on the upper right corner here where there's all these dots, and then you'll see books, and you can scroll to the end of this. But yeah, this is awesome for getting a bird's eye view of the entire Ramayana, knowing every single pastime that happened in it. This is really perfect. All right, so that's our program for today. I will do a short Jaidwani, and then I'll do a Jaidwani now, and then if anybody needs to go, that's great. I mean, that's totally fine. And then at the very end, for anybody who wants to stay longer, I'm going to sing the Ramachandra Ashtakam by Murari Gupta. All right. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Jai Srila Param Gurudev Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gan Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sitaram Jai Shri Jai Nitil Pravishta Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Mahārāja Ki Jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Nitil Pravishta Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Dait Madhav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. All the associates of Jagat Guru Śrīla Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Śrī Rāmacandra Ki Jai. Jai Shri what are different names? Ramachandra, Ramabhadra, Rama Raghutama. Jai Shri Ramachandra Ki Jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Ki Jai. Shri Ram Navami Titi Ki Jai. Jai Titi Palan Kari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sita Devi Ki Jai. Oh wait, it's also the appearance day of Shri Lakshman Ki Jai. Shri Bharat Ki Jai. Shri Shatrughna Ki Jai. And Shri Sita Devi Ki Jai. And then what are the wives? So Lakshman's wife Urmala Ki Jai. Jai Shri and what is it? Bharat's wife Mandavi Ki Jai. And Shatrughna's wife Shrutakirti Ki Jai. Jai Shri Janak Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Daśāvatāra Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Kaushalya Devi Ki Jai. Shri Kaikeyi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Sumitra Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Hanuman Ki Jai. All the Ayodhya Vasis Ki Jai. Jai Shri Valmiki Ramayan Ki Jai. Shri Valmiki Ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai. All right. Thank you for joining, everybody. If anybody wants to stay longer, I'm going to sing now the Ramachandrashtakam, which I sent out on the Gaudiya Kirtan mailing list yesterday. Yeah. And also, just before anybody goes, tomorrow we're going, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to read this book about a memoir of Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Mahārāja, about Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Mahārāja, called Sweet, Sweeter, Sweetest. We're going to read that over the next few days. Okay. Oh, and I sent this out yesterday. There's a little pastime that this in Chaitanya Bhagavat that describes this ashtak. Maybe it'd be nice to read that. Where is the post here? There's a beautiful description in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Just opening it here, we can. Oh, shoot. I thought I sent the text. It's Antya-khanda 4315. I could easily, it'll take me 1 second to open that up. Antya-khanda 4315. 1 second. Where is it? It would be in projects, Chaitanya Bhagavat reading, chapters, Antya 3, right? No, 4. 4315. Okay, 1 second. 315. Okay. Okay, so after they blissfully finished eating, the devotees all went before the Lord. All of Lord Gaurasundar's associates came and sat down around him. When the Lord saw Murari Gupta before him, he smiled and spoke to him. O Gupta, I have heard that you composed 8 verses describing Raghavendra. Please recite them. Being ordered by the Lord, Murari Gupta became absorbed in ecstasy as he began to recite those verses. And then the verses are here, we'll sing them. In this way, Murari Gupta recited 8 verses, and on the order of the Lord, he then explains them. So Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gives all the verses there. Then Murari Gupta says, his complexion is dark like durva grass, and he is the supreme teacher in the art of archery. He is like a desire tree for fulfilling the desires of his devotees. He is smiling as he sits on the royal throne decorated with jewels with Sri Janaki Devi on his left. In front of him is his younger brother, the great archer Lakshman, whose complexion is as effulgent as gold, and who is decorated with golden ornaments. Appearing as the Lord's younger brother, Sri Lakshman, who is the origin of Lord Ananta, engages in the service of his elder brother. Birth after birth, I worship the lotus feet of Sri Raghunandan, who is the supreme teacher of everyone. His 2 brothers, Bharat and Shatrughna, fan him with chamars, as the leaders of the monkeys sing his auspicious glories before him. May I, birth after birth, sing the glories of that Lord who made friends with the Chandal Guha. He left his kingdom on the order of his guru. He then wandered in the forest to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. The Lord killed Vali and entrusted the kingdom to Sugriva. Out of compassion, he made friends with Sugriva. I worship the lotus feet of the master of the 3 worlds, who delivered Ahalya. With the help of Lakshman and the monkeys, the Lord effortlessly created a bridge over the insurmountable ocean. I worship the lotus feet of that Lord who killed Ravan and his family members, whom even Indra could not defeat. By his mercy, the religious-minded Vibhishan became the king of Lanka, even though he did not want to. I worship the lotus feet of Raghavendra, whose glories are faithfully heard by even the Yavanas. He always carried a bow and arrows to annihilate the miscreants, and he enthusiastically maintained his subjects as if they were his own sons. By his mercy, all the inhabitants of Ayodhya went to Vaikuntha in their same bodies. Maheshwar forgets his clothes while absorbed in the mellows of his name, and Lakshmi constantly engages in the service of his lotus feet. I worship the lotus feet of Raghavendra, the master of all, who the Vedas glorify as the supreme Brahman and Lord of the universe. In this way, Murari Gupta explains the 8 verses that he had composed describing the nectarian glories of Ram. After hearing his prayers, Sri Gaurasundar was pleased and placed his lotus feet on Murari's head. Listen, Gupta, by my mercy, you will be the servant of Ram without disturbance, birth after birth. If a person takes shelter of you for even a moment, he will certainly attain the lotus feet of Ram. When everyone heard the benediction Lord Chaitanya gave to Murari Gupta, they all exclaimed, Jai, Jai. In this way, the lion-like Gaur enjoyed his pastimes surrounded by his servants, who were like bumblebees at the lotus feet of the Lord. So on this day of Ram Navami Tithi, we should especially take we should follow Mahaprabhu's instruction and his benediction and take shelter of the feet of Murari Gupta. And we can do this by reciting his Ramacandra Ashtakam, which we'll do right now. I'm not going to read the translation. We can just sing the song. Yeah. But this is in Murari Gupta's Sri Chaitanya Charita 2:7 verses 10 to 18. Okay. 1 second. I'm going to turn off the speakers. I'm sorry, turning on sound for musicians. Rajat Kiritamani Diditi Dipitasham Udyal Brihaspati Kavi Pratime Vahantam Adve Kundalenkara Samana Vaktra Ramam Jagat Traya Gurung Satatam Bhajami Udyadvipakaramarichi Vibhoditabja Netrang Subimbadashana Chadacharunasam Shubhrang Shurashmi Parinirjita Charuhasam Ramam Jagat Traya Gurum Satatam Bhajami Atam Kambukhantam Ajamam Bhujatulya Rupam Muktavali Kanakahara Dhritam Vibhantam Vidyur Balaka Gana Sangyutamam Budangva Ramam Jagat Traya Gurum Satatam Bhajami Uttana Hastatala Sangsta Sahasrapatra Panchachadadhikam Shatam Pravarangulibi Kurvantya Sita Kanakadutiyasya Sita Parshve Stita Raghuvaram Satatam Bhajami Agre Dhanurdharavara Kanakojvalango Jishtanusevanaratho Chayata Bhushanadya Sheshakya Dama Varalakshmana Namayasya Ramam Jagatraya Gurum Satatam Bhajami Yo Raghavendra Kula Sindhu Sudangshurupo Maricha Rakshasa Subahu Mukhani Hatya Yagyamra Raksha Kushikan Vaya Punya Rashin Ramam Jagatraya Gurum Satatam Bhajami Hatva Khara Trishira Sosaganoka Bandam Shri Dandakana Madhushanameva Kritva Sugriva Maitram Vinihatya Shatru Tang Raghavam Dashamukantakaram Bhajami Bhaktva Pinakam Akaroj Janakatmajaya Vaivahikotsava Viding Pati Bhargavendram Jitva Pitur Mudamuvahaka Kutstavaryam Ramam Jagatraya Gurum Satatam Bhajami Itang Nishamya Raghunandana Rajasingha Shlokashtakam Sabhagavan Charana Murare Vaidyasya Murdhni Vinidhaya Lilekha Bhale Tvam Ramadasa Iti Bho Bhavamat Prasadar Ramam Jagatraya Gurum Satatam Bhajami. 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 Jaya Ramacandra, Jaya Ramacandra, Ramacandra, Jai Ramacandra, Jai Ramacandra, Jai Ramacandra, Ramacandra, Jai Ramacandra, Jai Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman, Sitaram, Jai Lakshman Hanuman, Raghupati Raghava, Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sitaram, Raghupati Raghava, Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sitaram, 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 Lakshman Hanuman, oh Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Lakshman Hanuman, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai, Jai Shri Murari Gupta ki Jai, Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Jai.
Jai. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for staying all the way till the end. A very long program today, almost 2 hours. Yeah, very grateful. And
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
thank you, Hari Bol.
Dandavat pranams to all devotees.
Dandavat pranams. And I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow, where we'll read Sweeter and Sweetest, the Glories of Śrīla Bhakti Ballabha Tīrtha Goswami Maharaj.
Jai Ho.
Jai. Right. And then after that, after we finish reading Sweeter, Sweetest, I don't know how long it will take. It'll probably take a few days, I'm guessing, maybe 3 or 4 days. And then after that, we will start reading Shri Shikshashtakam with Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's commentary and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's commentary. Shri Shikshashtakam. That's the next program. All right. Dandavat pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji. My father, Rishabdev Prabhu, and I'm guessing my mother, Nishchinta Devi, is also listening. And Rukmini Didi, all glories to your Gurudev Hari Bol. Ashray Tattva Prabhu, and on YouTube and Facebook, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, and Shripad Bhaktivedanta Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat pranams Maharaj, and Vidyalala Sadidi, Vangshiwala Prabhu, Jayadev Prabhu, Raseshwari Mataji, I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, and so many other devotees. There are 10 devotees there, so Dandavat pranams. And and Dad, Rohini Nandan Prabhu offers his Dandavat pranams to you. He says Dandavat to Rishabdev Prabhu. All right.
Astu Dandavat to Rishabdev Prabhu and Nishchinta Devi Dasi.
I'm not sure if my father knows how to work the mic on Zoom. I've never seen him on Zoom before, but I'm sure he's offering his pranams back. All right. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol.
Oh, and Sajan Maharaj, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.